Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbprou.com.
Good evening and welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05 Talking Small Business. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and glad to be back hanging out with you one more Tuesday evening. As always, we have some great guests on the show, and especially excited about tonight's show because, really AI has just really been taken over by storm of the last several months, and it's such a powerful tool for entrepreneurs and business owners. You've had different tools or different technologies that have come out that have been supposed to be game changers for small businesses. But I think the AI is the first one that's actually lived up to the expectations. I'm already using it for many things that I'm doing, and it's been tremendous. It's increased productivity, opportunities. So definitely excited about AI. Tonight's session, my guest is Jimmy Newson, and we're really going to dig into the benefits of AI for content marketing. So let me invite Jimmy on real quick. Hey Jimmy, how you doing this evening?
I am doing okay. Always cool to hang out with you, Mr. Andrew Frazier.
All right. Well, excellent. I always love hanging out with you too. I'm always learning valuable stuff, and I'm glad that we can share it with our network. I think
absolutely. And this is an exciting topic for me as well. It's just such a huge game changer. So I'm excited to get into this whole topic here.
Okay. No, definitely. Always great to have you back. I guess it seems like we have you back quarterly because you're always doing cool stuff and you're always cutting edge. So, I'm like, we need to bring that to the show. So definitely excited about today. I know you're going to do some live examples and really demo so that people can understand what it is, how it works, and how they can use it. There's a lot of the tools that are user-friendly now.
Absolutely. And the cool thing about that is, if you're already using some type of tool in your business, there's a good chance that they've already started implementing AI capabilities in the tool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is definitely exciting time. You've been on several times, but just real quick, just introduce yourself, and then we'll get started with getting into the topic.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jimmy Newson. I'm the impact influencer, not as in social media, Instagram model. I could probably be that, but I'm not going to be that today. More about, helping entrepreneurs, small business owners, business professionals make an impact. So I help influence that. That's where that name comes from. I'm the founder and CEO of Moving Forward Small Business. Our vision is to be the #1 strategic support system for small business entrepreneurs and business professionals globally. And our mission is to save 1 million businesses from failure by the year 2050, leveraging innovation, technology, and strategy. So I'm all about that tech life. I'm all about innovation, and I'm definitely all about strategy. So that's that, I live and die for the support of the small business owner. Everything that I do as far as gathering knowledge, implementing strategies on behalf of my clients, and even for my own business, I like to share that out to the world to really help others, shortcut the path to learning, because there's so many different things that you can do, and there's so many paths you can take. If we can help you make that journey a little easier, that's what we're here for. And thanks for the shout out, Jack. I appreciate it, buddy. And how you doing, Darren? It's good to have you here as well.
Excellent. So, Jimmy, you've been doing a lot of stuff, and I know you were just over in Europe recently.
Yes.
Really doing some cool stuff. What were you doing over there again?
This is all a part of that whole branding and leveraging your platform. So I was chairing for 2 days at a conference called the Digital Marketing World Forum, which allows me to, dive deep into, what's going on as far as the big business and what they're doing. And then I can kind of take everything I'm learning there and bring it back and present it to the small businesses, but then present it to them in a way that they can take these lessons and leverage them for themselves, because there is a huge difference between what a large business can do and what a small business can do. So I kind of can see myself as kind of that translator between the two, and being able to work with the Digital Marketing World Forum, who sends me all over the world. I'll be in Miami in a couple months, and I'll be back in Amsterdam. Those are power moves, and those moves allow me to get into the rooms, get to the table, and it's by design. When I met the Digital Marketing World Forum 3 years ago, I told them, you're going to be sending me around the world. They probably thought I was crazy, but 3 years later, guess what they're doing?
Okay. Well, no, definitely. It's important for people to learn what you know. I know you put the work in and are continually learning and doing new things. So, definitely it's good to see how your business is materializing, but also how, you're impacting business owners all over the world. So.
Absolutely. And shout out to Takira. I appreciate that LinkedIn, that LinkedIn recommendation. Good looking young lady.
Excellent. So, getting into the topic, definitely you've got AI coming out. You said it's in a lot of tools that we may already use.
Right.
Before we get started, just what exactly is AI, and sort of what can it do for you?
Sure. So AI, and I actually wanted to make sure I got this right, so I pulled up the definition, at least the one that I liked the most. And it says AI refers to the development of computer systems capable of performing tasks that usually require human intelligence. So AI is an amazing thing, and what they say is, with great power comes great responsibility. So most people think of AI, especially in the marketing world, as content creation, a tool that can write blog posts for you and all this stuff. But it's much more than that. So, something else I want to share with you is about how can a business use what we call generative AI tools. And what these tools are meant to do is enable your organization to optimize your operations, boost your creative output, and most importantly, gain an edge over your competitors. So what can these tools do for you? So here's kind of a list of the things that AI as a tool can do for your business. It can create realistic product prototypes, generate personalized content for customers. There's your content marketing piece. It can design compelling marketing material, enhance data analysis and decision-making processes, which I'm going to show you because, like I said, like you mentioned before, I'm going to demo a few tools, more or less to just give you an idea of how I would use that tool based on the data that I'm either inputting into the tool or the tool is spitting back out to me. You can develop new and innovative products and services. You can automate repetitive tasks, streamline operations, gain a competitive edge in the market, and of course, enhance creativity. So These are a lot of the things that a business can use AI for. And again, it's not just Chat GPT. It's a lot more than that. And there's so many different applications. At the end of the day, you really have to define, what am I trying to achieve? And then you can seek out an AI tool that might be able to help you to do that. So the AI tool does not come first. Your goals, your vision, where you're headed, what are your objectives? These things will help dictate, well, what do I need to do? And is there an AI-based tool or a tool that has AI capabilities available to help me do that?
Okay. No, I'm glad you mentioned that, AI is a tool. Just like, when I'm talking to people about marketing, they're like, I need to be on LinkedIn or I need to be on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The first question is why? You need to have a strategy and determine what the appropriate tools are for the strategy that you have. And same thing for AI. It may be able to do a little bit of everything, but what's going to help you accomplish your goals most successfully. So definitely,
Absolutely.
That's a key. So there's so many things that AI can do. The official topic is for content marketing,
Mm-hmm.
but it can do a lot more than that. And I'm sure you're going to be talking about some of the other things that it can do, and many things overlap. You've got analysis of your content marketing and your marketing efforts. So a lot of things are intertwined, but you're using different tools for AI.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just starting out, what's the first tool, or how should I dip my toe into it and learn a little bit about how to use it?
Yeah. All right. So in this instance, let's go with the topic that we're talking about. The topic here is about unleashing the power of content marketing with AI. So let's stick with content marketing. And at the end of the day, if you're doing any type of content marketing, the next question would be, are you using a tool to help you with that content marketing? And content marketing is more than just blog writing. Content marketing has to do with messaging. So you're talking about social media. You're talking about email marketing. You're talking about landing pages, different, not just blogs, but the content on the sites. You can use content marketing tools to help you if you're selling e-commerce stuff on Amazon. There's, it can write very specific Amazon related or eBay related content. There's different types of social media type things that can be created with an AI tool, from just your standard your standard blog, your post, but it could also optimize your ads if you're running your ads. And so that's on the content side. And if you look at the data analytics side, the data can be fed into an AI-based tool, and that data can be used to help you improve the delivery or the performance of those ads, of that information. So there's so many different ways that you can leverage it. So I would say, look, if you're already doing content marketing, I'm hoping you're using a tool. And if you're using a tool, does that tool have AI capabilities? If it doesn't, then it's time to look for one that does have AI capabilities. So probably the first thing I would do is do a search for content marketing AI tools. And again, I'm going to show you two of them that I use religiously. I can't even get away from my desk on a daily basis without touching one, if not both of these tools, because they're just that powerful for me.
So
you there? There you go.
Yeah. So you're teasing us on the tools. So what are the names of the tools?
That's my secret sauce. That's going to cost you about $599, and I'll tell you exactly what they are. No. Today you get a discount because you're Andrew's friend. Now you're my friend. One of the tools I use is called AnyWord, and another tool I use is called ScaleNut. So these are two that are very specific content marketing tools. But there is actually a major difference between the two tools. One is very SEO driven. for all those SEO people out there, which I'm one of. So I actually discovered AnyWord first, which I think is an amazing tool. I still think it is, and I still use it, but I use ScaleNut for a totally different reason. If you want, I'll show a little bit of each one of those, and then we'll come back, because I have other tools that are not just about content. They're about so much more. I want to show other tools later that they're different tools, but they've integrated AI into them. So let me share my screen.
Okay. And actually, real quick,
Yeah.
we got a question from Darren.
Yeah.
Or at least a little bit, in the graphic design industry.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely AI is making some changes there as well. What kind of things are you seeing there? All
right. So I saw what he said, and even as a designer, and I design. I'm not an amazing designer. I have someone else who's amazing, but you have tools like Canva, and of course you've got your staples like Adobe. They've all started to integrate AI into the process. Adobe, I've seen a number of the commercials where they can now take a photo like me or my head like this behind a tree, and then use AI to auto fill the rest of the picture. If you're in the graphic design, how many times have you wish you could do stuff like that? And I guess the biggest thing I want to talk about, the two things hopefully we'll get into, is what should we do with this type of power, and the efficacy behind what can be done with this type of power. So it's great that we can do it, but the two things, one thing that comes off is people are like, it could take our jobs, and at the end of the day, it can't take your job. I think it's a round trip scenario here. Round trip meaning you start at the beginning, you leverage the tool, and then it has to come back to you before it goes out into the world. It's meant not to replace us, but to help us, again, streamline, to make our process easier, so we can focus on bigger picture stuff. We don't have to focus on, when we're using AI to kind of, do some of this research for us, keyword research or, market research. We can focus more on strategy and high level stuff that's going to produce a better ROI, because we didn't have to spend our entire day doing keyword research, which is absolutely boring. Absolutely, Darren. Adobe is the bomb, and and so I wanted to get that in there, but now we'll share the tool. But yeah, I mean, and that's why I say AI is everywhere in everything, because you're going to notice that coming up in a number of tools. So let me share my screen, and I'll go into two.
Okay.
Share screen. Let's go entire, and let's go here, and let's get rid of. So this is the first tool. This tool here, can you see my screen? Because I can't see you. Let me move this over so I can actually see you. All right, so this is AnyWord. So AnyWord, as you can see, you can click on here, like over here to the right, I have different workstations for clients, for my own projects, so I can break things out. But I could do data-driven editor, and I can do a blog wizard. And when people talk about things like, this type of content can be impersonal, not human enough, where, tools like AnyWord is listening. So they build things like your brand voice and copy intelligence, which allows you to integrate more of your personal style into this. And that can be taken into consideration when you are creating this content. So again, it's a round trip scenario. If you've ever done video editing or any type of editing, you're always round tripping. You start with an idea, you push it into a tool, you might push it into a second tool, then you bring it back out to you for final tweaks before you deliver that. So if I click on see all templates, I can create stuff for ads, Facebook ads, I can boost performance ads. I could take existing content that I already have and make it better. Because that's where we spend a lot of our time, either writing things from scratch or trying to improve it. When a tool can do that for us, as long as we, give it the right prompts or we give it the right support, it can stay on message, but we still might have to tweak it. You come back over here, we've got, we can, Taboola ads, we got LinkedIn, we got landing pages, we can do just call to actions, benefits sections only, keep going, tweets, all this incredible stuff, emails, general email headlines, code emails. And it just, now think of all, if you had to create all this stuff from scratch, this saves me so much time in my day. I can literally write an entire program in 1/10 the time now. I do a lot of presentations. I understand, and this is where the ethical part comes in. People go, well, if you use these tools, it's not really you writing. If you don't personally have an insight on the topic that you're having the tool write, you should not write it, or else you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. So I use it on stuff I already know. So when it's outputting things, I know if it's right, or I know how to prove that it's correct or not, because these tools can have some level of error when it's producing stuff. So there's so much stuff that you have to keep in mind when you're leveraging these type of tools. So this is incredible when you're able to do this. So let's just do this LinkedIn post, and I have, let's click away from this. I have target audiences I can add. I have a broad audience. I'm in the wrong account, but in one of my accounts, I have 4 different personas that I've created. So I can say what it's about. I can choose the suggestion. It's for a homepage. It's for a landing page. I could come up with advanced topics. I usually will write a rough idea of what I want to say, drop it in here, and then I'll say, give me 3 different variations. And then after it does that, I go over here, and then I use Grammarly to clean it up and update it. Before I used to have to take it out and put it into a Word doc and then do that in Grammarly. So I can do a lot more in here. So this is strictly about content creation. So if I look at the other tool, this is ScaleNut. So ScaleNut, I also is a content writing tool, but it's really more specific to SEO. And this is where we want to really go, especially when we're producing content that has the ability to drive free traffic to our website. So this particular version, ScaleNut, once I do have this article, this is a 4,400, almost a 4,500 word article that I wrote in a matter of minutes, but I understand the topic. And I started choosing some structure. Now that it's written, you would think it's done, but it's not, because if you look over here to the right, you can see I'm only getting an SEO score of 59 out of 100. Let's see if I can get that to 85 or 90. It's already telling me that I have key terms missing. It's telling me that my meta tags are good. It's telling me that I have issues with my H2s and H6. And in it, if I click in here, it'll tell me what's wrong, so I can fix that. It's telling me I got some content depth issues if I want to address them. It's saying that I need to bold some words, and I need to bold 66 to 80 words in this 4,500 word document. It's saying I need to have at least 10 to 12 images. Unlike the other tool, I can come in here and say how to, refining your business ideas. Let's click here and let's go to image. And now I can type about refining. And see what comes up. Let's just choose that. Boom. So now what happens is now I'm starting to add images. I can search in here for to find my sources. I can add my sources in here. I can keep, I can see that the SEO score is 59. I can see the word count suggestion should be about 3,800 to 44. I can see the suggested keyword usage to be 59. I'm at 43. I can see the brief of the entire article. I can also look at where are they pulling the research from, the key terms, the competitors, the questions, the statistics. So I can drop this statistic in here if it makes sense to add more punch and depth to this, because the objective is to get this thing to rank. So I'm going to come out of this because I can be in here all day, every day, understanding the power of this type of stuff. So I'm going to stop sharing and go back to hanging out and chatting with you for right now, Mr. Frazier.
All right, welcome back. Definitely you can see there's some variations from the tools, but creating content can take a lot of time. We've spent a lot of time on blog articles and other stuff, and coming up with the idea, writing it, reviewing it. You could spend a day, you could spend a half day easily on one blog. And, I think you were saying you could do like 5 in an hour, or
Yeah, if you get really good at it, and again, and that also comes into effect. What has to play is you have to have some type of working knowledge of the topic. I should not be writing about food. I like eating food, but I am not a food critic. So can I do it with the tool? Absolutely. But seeing that I have a limited knowledge of that topic, I could let things slide that I may not know I should not let slide, which if God forbid that article actually does very well and it's got mistakes in it, you're gonna hear about it. And it will damage your credibility.
Okay. So, and like you showed, not only can you write things faster, but they're actually better content for SEO, and will get you more visibility. Correct?
Absolutely. And that's the objective. So, and we're working on a number of different programs in our membership, which is Moving Forward Small Business. And because this is the type of stuff that we share. Everybody knows we need to be running ads. Everybody knows we need to be creating content. But the question is not always what. The question is how. How do we do this? How do we do it effectively? How do we, what I notice about people who leverage tools, small business owners who leverage tools, is they never leverage it to the degree that they could leverage it at. They're always under leveraging it. So our job is to go, well, what's the most important part of this tool? And how do we get that? How do we get out of that some level of output that produces an ROI for our business?
Okay. So definitely, I can say that I'm using the tools, but I'm maybe using 20% of the capabilities of the tools, and I'm going to work to do more. But sometimes you need help. Sometimes it's just a question of time. As a small business owner, there's never enough time to do everything.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, there's never enough time. So if you can get the shortcut and you trust the source, get it.
yeah. So that's cool. So you've learned a lot about digital marketing. Where did you learn it from? How do you figure this out?
In most cases, it's you do have to. It all, I guess, it all depends where you come from. I come from a marketing background, so it is a bit easier for marketers because this does fall under our umbrella. As a small business owner that doesn't have exactly a marketing background, you can still leverage it, but you're leveraging the tool based on, your expertise, because the tool is meant to help you, leverage your expertise to a bigger scale. Oh crap! I kind of threw myself off. What was the question again?
Okay, so a little bit about how you keep current, how you figure it out.
Absolutely, yeah.
What you know about.
It's about to stay current. You just got to find your sources, and depending on where you are. For me, as someone who does this all the time, my sources are going to be different from a small business owner. A small business owner could get this type of information, stay up on this type of information from people like me and my community, or Andrew, you and the Small Biz University, which covers these type of topics. If you're in marketing, are you going to conferences and events that talk about, digital marketing, AI tools, Web 3.0, so you're going places and you're getting information and you're talking to colleagues, hey, what are you using to help you do this? And shout out to Karen. I saw the Karen Holler. So hi, Karen. So you have to figure out, you have to have communication with industry experts, and you also have to have, you have to be out there understanding this technology. We sometimes will sit on the sideline for too long, not thinking that this is good for us, or realizing we don't have time. But we are going through a digital transformation. This is exactly what this is. And the digital transformation for a small business is key to our survival. I play big as a small business because I embrace digital, and I embrace technology because, again, it allows me to do more with less. So at the end of the day, you get it by any means necessary. If you're hearing a lot of buzz about something, inquire about it. You don't have to necessarily go and learn everything about it. Inquire about it from people until you can find someone that can give you some real data on how they're using it or how they've seen it being used. So it's yep. And Precious Williams is in the house. Shout out to my girl Precious. Love you, girl. And shout out to Steven as well. I'm glad that you're liking these tools. But yeah, so you got to connect with people. It's a funny thing about the internet bringing people together, but sometimes people feel the loneliest. But as entrepreneurs, we have the ability to come together in groups, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't feel like this question is going to make me sound unintelligent, or anything like that. I do a lot of, I push my members a lot to go ask me questions, because I know this stuff so well that I forget that you may not know it as well as me. So if you don't ask me the question, and I'm putting it out to everybody that's watching it now, ask me a question. If I say something and you're like, what the hell is that? Let me explain it. Let me help, because it helps me become a better teacher. So I hope I answered your question, Andrew.
Yeah, you answered a few questions that I didn't ask also, but that's okay. So yeah, I think that one thing that you said is very important for people to understand is this is not the one for you to sleep on or stand on the sidelines. We had blockchain, we had crypto, we had metaverse. Everybody's like, oh, that's going to change everything. There were changes around the edge, especially for small businesses, but this is fundamental change for every business and every small business.
And let me jump in on that if I can. And me and you have had a conversation about this. And so the question would be, well, why did this one take off when the other ones, which are still great, blockchain, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that thing. Okay. Why did this one take off so much? And I'll tell you my personal perspective on it is because, and Stephen, you're absolutely right. Grammarly, it's being integrated into everything we already use, and that's so the adoption, you're adopting it without even realizing it, because it's being added to. And this will bring me into, I want to demonstrate another couple of tools after, if we have any. I see some comments coming in, but blockchain, all these other things, I think were more freestanding platforms where we have to go and figure out how to use it. AI, if it was just Chat GPT alone, then we'd have to go there. I still have not used the actual tool Chat GPT, but I've used the hell out of AI and machine learning, because it's been integrated into tools I already use. And the excitement of that made me seek out more other tools that I need for certain things to run my business, but that are also now AI infused.
Okay. Yeah. And I think, just to add on what you said about the other technologies, many of them are very expensive to play in. So as a small business owner, you don't have the resources to invest in those type of technologies. And like you said, the degree of learning curve and just they're not really applicable to the current needs of business owners, whereas all the AI tools are directly applicable to what you're trying to do now. I think when you talked about, you got to learn from each other. So your network is key. I'm using several of these AI tools. Couple you introduced me to, one my client introduced me to, and that was the tool I had been waiting for all my life. I was like, what?
Yeah, you even introduced me to a couple of tools that I'm now using. So it goes both ways.
So as a business owner, it's important to connect, have community. That's why we have the show, to share valuable things that can help you lead your business more effectively. Jimmy has a great community on strategy. We're building out the Small Business Pro Network. It's important to stay connected to people and groups that you can learn valuable lessons, get good ideas and feedback and perspective. So, so as a business owner, building your network, filling out with the right people, and is key. So
Now, if I may, can I go back on into screen sharing, because I think people are going to get a kick out of this next step here.
sure.
So first of all, shout out Victoria. Hi, hello. She says hello, everyone. So we say hello to you too. Okay. And so I'm going to share my screen again, and this time I'm going to show two tools that are using AI within them. They're not really meant to be AI. They've integrated them in over, to me, probably the first tool over the last 2 months. So it's relatively new. So let me pull up my screen again, share the screen here. So the first tool I'm going to share is, let's move this over here. So this is a business plan software called LivePlan. Okay. So I have my pitch for my company, the actual full plan, the forecasting, the benchmarking, the scheduling, the dashboard. And so I would have to, right now I'm still working on revamping our business plan because we made a lot of updates to it. But check this out. So right now I'm in the part of the plan where I have to, so this is the plan, and I have to, let's see if it's competition. All right, yeah. So here's a section on competition. So I'm reworking my competition section with SWOT analysis and all this, but here's a section called competition. So let's click on edit. Okay, so I typed this in myself. We compete with companies in the business and strategy consulting space. Some of those competitors include Fit Small Business, Boston Consulting Group, and Hello Alice. So that's what I typed. Now I can come over here and I can either expand on that, auto improve. So if I click on auto improve, it's writing it. So it wrote this for me, and I can either replace it or regenerate it. So that's not bad, but I'm looking for more depth. So I am not going to take that. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say expand, but I could also do professional tone, persuasive tone, academic tone, fixed mistakes only. So I'm going to click on expand and look at that. So it's going into each one of my competitors. Now I can accept that, which I will. And now that doesn't mean I'm done. Oh, did I push it through? Oh, I guess I didn't push it through. Give me a second. Let's do that again. So let's go replace content. But now I'm going to go in here and I could make sure that this is correct. So in post, let's call it post, I'm going to go to Boston Consulting Group and just make sure that this is correct, for my board members and all these other people. But imagine me going through and I can do my business plan, at least the text part of this business plan, in record time. Where before I'd keep putting it off because I don't have time to do it. But this is an example of a tool I already use is now leveraging AI to help me do this correctly. Now, let's look at another tool. This is another tool I use called SEMrush. Now, they have, they have an SEO writing assistant. And this assistant itself helps me figure out a better way of optimizing a specific blog post. So I can click on this here. If I have articles already on my website and they're not SEO optimized, I can just copy that whole text in here, put in the keywords that I'm targeting, and then it'll give me recommendations and I can fix that article. That's how I can update articles already on my website so I can start to gain more traffic. Okay. But here's how I use the data side. So I've been talking about the content, but let's take the data side. So let's look at Fit Small Business. And so I'm going to give you an exact case, use case that I'm using specifically for moving forward small business. So I'm in the traffic analysis section, the trend section. So this is one of my competitors, Fit Small Business. They do on average 1 to 4 million visitors a month. So they are very good. And the name of their business is called Fit Small Business. So they are absolutely my target audience. Now, there's a few things that I'm going to just skip down to this section right here that says, here are their top pages. When I start working with a new client, I ask them, give me the 3 closest competitors to you, and then give me an industry leader. The industry leader is the person, or is the organization that's crushing it in your industry. Okay. And what I can learn from them is I can see the top 5 pages that's driving the most traffic to their website when they're getting 1.3 million visitors in a month. And I can see their top 2, they did free QuickBooks online tutorial. They did best QuickBooks alternative. So I can click here and see the actual page. They did free domains, nonprofit credit card processing, and LLC versus S Corp versus C Corp. For me, this is great content. If they're ranking and they're pulling in, this one page is pulling in 128,000 unique visitors for them in the last 30 days. I need to write a page. So I already know topics I got to cover, and I got to try to write them better than the ones that are here. Now, understand that's not going to be any easy feat, but I now know if I want to I can bring on a strong writer and go, I need you to write us an article and get us on page 1 with these guys. Who else is competing? Again, going back to content marketing, because this is a very specific content marketing thing. This article, LLC versus C Corp versus S Corp, I do partnerships. I have sponsorships with organizations. I have strategic partnerships. So I just signed I just signed a sponsorship with a company that does LLCs and S Corps. So I'm seeing this is one of their top articles, and this thing is generating 24,000 unique visitors. I'm going to write this, and I'm going to integrate my sponsor into that article to help them hit an ROI and help me get more traffic. And also, since it will probably be an affiliate, I can also make money with that article. You see how I'm leveraging that data to make better decisions that are directly related to the content I got to create. And it's no longer me thinking about it with my gut, but I'm using real data to make decisions. So I know I'm headed in the right direction. Now I could track my article until I start to see it get on page 1. And if it's not starting to climb the SEO charts, I could start to make tweaks until it does get there. It may take me 6 months to get that article to page 1, but at least I know I'm going in the right direction based on the fact that my competitor is already crushing it with that particular one. So these are all the screen sharing I'll do for today. So I'm going to unshare now.
So yeah, you covered something interesting, but last year, or I guess earlier this year, we did a 12-part series on maximizing the profitability of your business.
Absolutely.
Really about how to run your business by the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't really understand how your business is performing if you don't understand the numbers. But now with technology, basically on the marketing side as well, you have to pretty much run your business by the numbers, understanding what's, doing the data analysis, the days of just being able to have a feel for stuff. Things are a little bit more complex than that.
And that's why I think we fall short, because we look at marketing as a task, and it's more than just a task. It has to be tied back to ROI. And if it's not, then you have to justify that budget. Turn those marketing qualified leads into sales qualified leads. And that also means that you got to spend enough money. Don't think that $50 a month in marketing ad budget is going to do anything for you. You have to be realistic and go, I need to make a true investment in marketing and make a commitment to seeing it through.
Okay. No, great point. We did a show a couple months back called Doubling Down in the Downturn. And really, now's the time to invest more in marketing rather than less, because there's opportunities out there. A lot of times there's more opportunities in challenging times, especially for smaller businesses.
Yeah. And if I could jump in there, as a small business, understand that power comes with more than just money. It's also in relationships. And I consider myself a king at this. And hopefully some of you will as well, kings, queens, what have you. But leveraging the power of great strategic partnerships is just like having cash. You have to figure out what is the unique value that I'm bringing to the conversation. What is the unique value I'm bringing to the opportunity, which is to them, if they had to pay for it, your return on that is access to an audience that should be the target audience that would purchase from you based on the content that you're putting out on behalf of the partnership. Key thing of what I do, and I like to swim upstream. And so I'll share a little nugget with everybody on this call is whether you're a large organization or small organization, one thing I've learned over the last few years is every one of these organizations struggles with content marketing. Every single one. The difference is they struggle with it differently. A small business, a solopreneur or a small organization with a handful of employees, they struggle with resources to produce more content. The larger organizations where we could help them benefit, they struggle with the fact that they don't have enough good content to feed the beast. They have a lot of people to feed, and they don't have enough great content to supplement and to give to them. And you, as an expert in your field, can be very instrumental in connecting with them and serving a specific section or segment of their target audience. You don't have to serve their whole target audience because their audience segmentation is going to be larger than yours. But if you can be very good at certain aspects of their audiences, you can really crush it and come in there as an expert and really do some amazing things. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So it's not just about money. It's about the relationships which can generate money.
Okay. So I would agree with you partially. It's not as good as money in the bank. It's good as like money in like a long-term CD.
Well, and you're right. But my point is where I'm going is for those who don't have the budget to advertise, then you're sitting there going, well, I don't have the money, so I can't do that. And I'm like, no, then there is an alternative. The alternative is you have value. You have to do a great job of defining that value and exploiting that value on behalf of the fact that you don't make a partnership deal or strategic partnership deal with someone just because they're bigger than you. You make it because they have your target audience, and you can turn that into gold.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And, really, being proactive, being creative, and being flexible, that's really where small businesses can excel. And, finding that right partner and partnering with them in the right way is key. So, these shows go so fast. So, we're close to the end, but there were a couple things I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
You talked about, a lot of content, written content, but also there's, we talked a little bit about artistic content, and, Canva uses AI, and then also video content. I think that's another area that AI is really providing some powerful tools that allow businesses to do things that they never would have otherwise been able to do.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about those type of tools, especially the video ones, is you don't have to worry so much about the message because they usually you have to feed them in the content, and typically the content came from you anyway. All they're doing is chopping it up and piecing it back together and turning it into a newsletter or short video clips for certain video platforms and different things like that. An email blast, So again, if you had to do that, that could cost you hours upon hours. But then a simple tool could do that in a matter of minutes, or at least you can do it and go away and come back and it's done.
Yeah. So no, it's amazing. When I saw that, I was like, where have you been all my life? Because that just opens up a whole new suite of capabilities. So you were telling me before about a program or a challenge. I think it was 0 to 1 million.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's pretty exciting. And all
right. So all right, everybody hearing this, you're going to have to connect with me on LinkedIn so you know when this launches. So sometime next month, we're going to be launching a challenge. So G2, if anybody's familiar with G2 wrote a series of articles, a pillar piece of content called 0 to 1 million visits in 12 months. So I've read it a couple times, and it's around, a content marketing strategy we call the pillar content, cluster content, which HubSpot refers to it as. So I said, hey, why don't we turn this into, I want to do this. I want to get our website to 1 million visits a month, similar to our competitors, but I understand what the commitment is. Now, they did a great job over at 8-piece thing. They detailed out the entire steps. Now, they took a website that had 0 traffic to 1 million. So they started with, so if you have 0 traffic, this could be something for you. But I said, what if I could turn that into an actual program and then leverage that program, and invite people to take part in this year-long thing. And even if they get to 500,000, because of course it takes work. None of this is easy. So we're going to launch that next month. We partnered, but we're partnering with ScaleNut, because ScaleNut focuses on things like what I would need to do to accomplish it. ScaleNut, we need to do cluster type content. And again, don't worry about the terminology so much, but this is what it is. We need to do cluster type content. But in essence, you would probably need like 8 to 10 people on this, to do this over a year's time. You need to hire writers and this and that. But when you're using a tool like ScaleNut, that can replace all of those people. And all you really need is still the knowledge about the topics that you're going to be covering. But you need project managers more to manage the system, and you can do the work of 8 people with 2. And so at that point, it makes it easier for me to help bring other people on, and you make it a program that more people can actually take advantage of that may not have a team of 8 to 12 writers. If you and maybe 1 or 2 people can dedicate the time to creating these contents and leveraging a tool like ScaleNut, I think this could be a great opportunity for you to start to really create content that is relevant, content that is great, and content that can start to get you traffic to your website that you can turn into revenue. So we're going to be launching that next month. We're still putting the final touches on this program, but it's called the Zero. I forget the name of it, but for lack of the fact that I can't remember the name of the program, it's going to be 0 to 1 million visits in 12 months. And so it's a 12-month journey. There is a cost. So I would tell you, because you have to have the ScaleNut tool, and you do need to be a member of Moving Forward Small Business. But I think the cost of that outweighs the benefit of what you're going to get from this type of traffic and the support that we're going to give you, and making sure that we're supporting you all the way through the end of this 12-month program. So that's that, Andrew.
All right. Great. So, this is amazing. We could probably talk for hours about this stuff. We will probably talk for an hour after this anyways.
I know,
but encourage, all business owners to really take a hard look and figure out where AI tools can help you. Before we close out, Jimmy, are there 3 things that everybody should take away from this? Because we covered a lot of stuff, but what are the 3 main things everybody needs to take away from this so that they can move forward on their AI journey?
Sure. 1, don't be afraid of the technology. Embrace it. If you're struggling with the fact, just figure out what you need to do in your business, and then see if there's a tool that can do it that could be AI infused. So that's 1. So don't be afraid of the technology. 2, do something. Again, try to write something with the tool. I'm pretty sure everybody here has got to be using something. Research your tools and see what has AI capabilities, and leverage it. And 3, just share it out there. If it's don't let the tool itself do all the work. You still have to clean it up and add your personal touch to it. And again, as long as you know the topic, it's writing what it needs to write, you're just adding your flavor to it, you're good to go. So I want to see your first piece of content that is AI created along with you. So your partnership with AI.
Excellent. So here you have it. Don't be afraid. Be proactive. Don't do nothing. It's not going to do itself. But then what you do, you want to share it. those are good ways to really get started on the AI journey or continue to move forward further and faster on your AI journey, because it's a journey you need to get started on if you haven't, and you want to traverse this as quickly as possible, because it can be a game changer for you and what you're doing, and also it could be the opposite of a game changer if your competitor is doing it before you. So you want the first mover advantage. So Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me again this evening.
Always a pleasure.
Same, always good hanging out, and you're always ahead of the curve. So always love to have you share what you're working on and what you're learning. So thanks again. Hang out for a minute. Let me close things out. So everyone, appreciate all your comments, your questions. Thanks again for joining us live. Each week we have a great guest, a new topic, and next week, actually, our guest is Gene Sauer. He's going to talk about selling his business and why it was the best thing he ever did. Big announcement next week about our Small Business Pro Network. We're doing the pre-launch, a lot of great new features and activities. So if you're on, it's going to continue to get better. If you're not on, you want to get on. So we'll have more information for you next week about that. But, always remember, at the end of the day, the more that you know, the faster and more successfully your business will grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.